There's my little ode to one of the themes in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I think it... Jesus, which part of the game did I come from? It's some victory theme. I know it's that. I just don't recall quite at the moment which part it is. Anyway, this is Gene again, and guess what? I am not discussing Mortal Kombat. Woohoo! Actually, I'm discussing the blue blur here, Sonic the Hedgehog. This is actually a plushie that I got from my brother, and I have to give it to him. But it's a plushie that works. It makes noise. I need to try to make it make some noise. Come on, Sonic. Speak up. Meow. I always did like that theme. So anyway, the reason why I have this little plushie out of his box, it's an adorable little thing. If I like Sonic more, I might keep it for myself. But I got it for my brother, and I'm a good big sister now, so I'm going to give it to him next chance I get. So the reason why Sonic is out of his box and he's sitting here staring at me like I'm insane is because, if you haven't heard, you're about to find out. Sonic the Hedgehog is getting a live-action movie. I'm not even a huge fan of Sonic, and I just weep for him. I notified my brother, who was a big Sonic fan when we were little kids. I mean, loved the TV show, up to the point where when we were kids and we would walk up the street, whatnot, going to school in the morning, he would run up ahead of me a few feet, turn around, cross his arms over his chest, and, you know, imitating Jaleel White when he voiced Sonic for the old cartoon, my brother would go, "I'm waiting." So that's how much he liked it. He liked the show and the series as a little kid. It's part of the reason why I got him this plushie. When I saw it, I thought of him. So I just have to give it to him. So anyhow, there is a live-action Sonic movie coming out at some point in 2019, and the reveal of this and the posters, to which to my knowledge are now 2 posters out, has been so poorly received that even Polygon, one of the biggest shills in games journalism, and I say that with quotation marks, cannot defend this. They cannot defend this new live-action Sonic movie. Now, let me hopefully be brief and explain why this movie is such a bad idea, and why, for those who don't know or are not too familiar with Sonic, why this is such a bad thing. First of all, the director, I believe Tim Miller, who I believe worked on Deadpool, I'm not too sure, he has stated that his intention is to bring Sonic into the real world, to make him more realistic. So he's decided to make Sonic furry. I want to repeat that. Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be furry. Last time I heard of a furry Sonic the Hedgehog, it was in one of the later Sonic games where he could turn into like a werehog, and it was not received well. If you have ever played Sonic, you're familiar with him, seen the TV shows, or if you just go on Google and you Google Sonic the Hedgehog, you'll see that, with the exception of the werehog, he has never been depicted with fur. Even this plushie does not feature fur. There's no fur here. It's soft, right? But no fur. My cat has fur. Sonic the Hedgehog does not have fur. And yet, the director wants to take a more realistic take on Sonic by giving him fur. There's your first problem right there. I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sonic the Hedgehog is not real. I'm going to repeat that. Sonic the Hedgehog is not real. He is a 1990s mascot for the Sega Genesis. He is an anime hedgehog from the 1990s. He is not real. He is an anime character. I repeat, not real. Look at a real hedgehog. Look at Sonic. Look at a real hedgehog. Look at Sonic. They look nothing alike. So why in the world do you want to try to take a character who is inherently not made for the real world and make him more realistic by giving him fur? Something that, again, is not associated with the character of Sonic. You want to give fur to, say, you know, Tails? That's fine. Tails is a two-tailed fox. That's fine. Tails can have all the fur he wants. That's cool. But you don't do that to Sonic. That is not an element of Sonic's character design. He is not furry. And apparently, the spikes on Sonic's head or whatnot are not just like, you know, many quills, right, put together to resemble spikes or to resemble fur. Apparently in this live action version, it's supposed to be actual fur. I just want to repeat that. Fur. Not just like on Sonic's belly here. His little cute little belly. No. All over his body. He's supposed to be furry. He's as furry as my cat. He's a furry nudist. So, there's the first issue. The second issue is just the way live-action Sonic looks himself. There's currently at present, to my knowledge, 2 posters out. One poster was the first reveal poster, which has Sonic, if you want to call it that, shrouded in darkness, and he's in sort of like a variation of the runner's position, you know, that like ready position that runners get into. So he's in some sort of like kneeling, half kneeling type of thing, like he's about to break off into a run. And the body is so off. It is insane. Sonic, according to that poster, again, there's this, he's in shadow, but there's the silhouette of his body. He's kind of highlighted by this like blue electric light type thing. His body looks to be human. He honestly, again, from that trailer, looks like somebody decided to cosplay as Sonic, decided to paint their body blue, and then put on a giant Sonic head, and then go as Sonic. That's fine for Halloween. That's even fine for something like Comic-Con. That is not fine for a movie. For a live-action movie. Again, Sonic is not real, and Sonic is not even human. Why are you using a human body, a human form, and apparently a male human form? Which is fine, right? Sonic's male, the guy's male form, but still. Why are you using a human male form for Sonic the Hedgehog? He's not human at all. And on top of that, to just take it even higher, even further, Sonic, again, according to this poster, seems to have a sprinter's body. So it's not like he has a very, you know, slim, spindly, super skinny body that, say, marathoners or ultra marathoners have. I mean, if you've ever seen a marathon, being here in New York, I hear about the New York City Marathon every single solitary year. And we always find out who the winners are, and the winners are typically, you know, very, very, very skinny, and usually from Kenya or some African nation, but they're super skinny, right? Because they're marathon runners, they're endurance runners, so they're very, very, very thin. They're not sprinters. My personal opinion, and again, I have no proof, but my personal opinion is that the muscular human body is probably based off of, again, my opinion, no proof, just what I think, my speculation. I'm speculating that the muscular body, to me, is probably based off of Usain Bolt, because he has the record of being the fastest man alive, at least in the Olympics. So they probably decided to go with that. But here's the thing with Usain Bolt. He's a sprinter. He's a sprinter, not a marathon runner. If you were going to give Sonic a human body, which A is unadvisable, but if you're going to go that very silly route, you really should give him more of a runner's body, at least when it comes to the arms and the legs, because if you look at most depictions of Sonic, you even look here, right? You see how his arm in relation to his giant hand is slimmer, right? Giant hand, skinny arm. Giant hand, skinny arm. You look here at his legs. You really can't see it. Let me try to stand him up. Try to stand him up a little bit. You see how the legs look weird? How the legs are skinnier compared to the feet? See? Legs, feet. Legs, feet. They're supposed to be skinnier. His limbs are supposed to be noodles, basically. Right? That's the contrast. The parts of him that are very large are his head, his spikes, his eyes. Sometimes his eyes, at least the whites of his eyes, are freaking huge. His nose, right? The giant gloved hand, the giant feet. But not his limbs. So why in the world do you give him this very muscular form? You make no sense. This makes no sense. And to further prove that he's indeed meant to have a human body, or a more human-like body, and a muscular one at that, there is a second poster out, supposedly. I have no idea if it's a true poster, but I've seen it floating around, where it shows Sonic. It shows a first-person perspective. He seems to be jumping, right, onto the Golden Gate Bridge. Right, there's kind of like the blue speed blur. But the perspective looks like it's from the first-person perspective, in that he's leaping right onto the bridge, or about to land on the bridge. First of all, the first thing right out is that this is from the first-person perspective, and the way his legs are bent in the poster, he doesn't look like he's running, right? Look at any photo you've ever seen of Sonic running, right? If his feet aren't a blur, then he's usually, shown with his arms flying back, with, one foot striking in front of the other, right? He's kind of tilted forward because it's a run. It shows him running. This picture of this poster shows him with his knees kind of up and bent, right? We see his feet. First of all, the shoes look awful. The shoes don't look like this, right? They don't look, comically large like they should. They don't look like that. You know what the shoes in that poster look like? It's hard to see, but I have red champion athletic shoes. They look like that. The shoes Sonic is wearing in the new poster with the Golden Gate Bridge look like my sneakers. Okay, let me try to get closer. These are my sneakers. See? Regular runners, right? Regular trainers, red champions. Yeah, sorry for the... Now we're back here. That's what Sonic's shoes look like in the new poster. They look like my sneakers. They should not look like my sneakers. They should look... Make him stand up. Like that. Right? They should look comically large. Just like his hands. The gloved hands should look comically large. And yet, we have a Sonic the Hedgehog that looks like an Olympic sprinter wearing a woman's pair of red champions. Actually, no, it's not a woman's pair. Those are actually a man's pair. I couldn't find a shoe style that I liked, so I ended up going with the red champions. So those are actually men's sneakers, but I owned them, so they're mine. So they're women's sneakers. But anyhow, again, my point in this thing is that this is just a bad look all around. The character does not look like Sonic. The character honestly looks like he painted himself blue, put on a giant Sonic head, and said, "Hi, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog." That is not Sonic the Hedgehog. I sincerely hope that Tim Miller and all the other parties in this just scrap this project and either leave it in development hell or start over. We don't need a realistic, furry, human sprinter looking Sonic. That's not what anyone wanted. I don't even recall anybody wanting a Sonic movie. What most Sonic fans wanted was either a new TV show or new games. I haven't heard of anybody say, "Oh, you know what we need to do? You know what the fans are clamoring for? A Sonic the Hedgehog film." I don't know of anybody who was saying that. Anyway, it's just, again, just a bad idea all around. The character design is terribly off, and I sincerely hope they stop, because this is Sonic. The little plushie I've been speaking to for the past 15 minutes is Sonic the Hedgehog. Not this abomination that they're not only just have put on posters, but are trying to sell to the public, and ideally want to make millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on. And there's no Jaleel White, who's the voice of Sonic for people my age, for a generation. And for some reason, Jim Carrey is going to be playing the, I'm going to say the Joker for a second. It's like he isn't playing the Joker. He's going to be playing Dr. Robotnik. Do we need to show Tim Miller? Do we need to show Tim Miller Jim Carrey's turn as the Riddler back in the Batman Forever movie? Do we need to dig that up? Do we need to go back down the memory hole and dig that up to show him how bad an idea this is, to have Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik? And I'm not a fan of Jim Carrey. I think he's gone sideways a couple of times over his life, but this isn't about what I think of him personally. It's about him as an actor. I think he's a great actor. I think he's a great comedian. But it doesn't mean that he's made out to be in nerd franchises like Batman or Sonic the Hedgehog. Please. And this is someone who actually does not like Sonic. I have a great respect for it. The music is amazing. The first, especially the second game, is a masterpiece. But it is not something I personally am all of that invested in. But for people who are invested in it, like my brother, who I emailed, and his response when he emailed me back was, and I'm gonna finish with this. This is what my brother said to me in email when I told him about this. He said, "I'm going to act like," I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said, but what he said, paraphrased, was, "I'm going to pretend this isn't happening, and I'm going to leave Sonic the Hedgehog in the past." I want to repeat that. A guy who is a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan wants Sonic the Hedgehog left in the past. And I agree with him. Let the past be the past. Not everything needs to be updated. Not everything needs to be recreated or rebooted or have a live action version. In fact, most things don't. Let it be. Let the past be. Let it go. Leave it alone. So, I'm going to end the video here. Please tell me what you think. I'm going to stuff Sonic back in his box and hopefully get him to his rightful owner. Say bye, Sonic!